Every once in a while I get these ideas put in my head and I get these thoughts flowing through me. And so I figure I have to put them on video and just make a video out of it. So here we go with my idea and why I just now realized why I don't want kids anymore. It's going to be an interesting video. Let's take a look. So I'm going to tell you a story, right? I walk downstairs, it's a beautiful sunny day, just like this one, and I'm encountered by all of these different things, and I realized that little kids, okay, as much as they are adorable and awesome, take up pretty much all of your time, and you don't have a whole lot of time to do anything else around it. I got my nieces and nephews staying here, and I got my mom and my sister, and there's a lot of people with a lot of different ideas doing stuff in the house and trying to make sure that their way is the right way. And so as I am confronted with all of these conflicting ideas, I realize that the amount of time that kids take up is not something that I want for a long time, if ever. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Chase, why do I care if you want kids or not? And don't worry, I'm going to bring it home real quick here. Okay, here's the thing. I want to be able to live my life and prosper, for a long period of time. I like being single more than I like being in a relationship, and I like being free from having responsibilities of children more than I would if I had to take care of them all the time. Because, sometimes I got to take care of my nieces and nephew, and as much as I love doing it, it's not something that I would want to do all the time. What was I going with this again? So it's just me wanting to be me and be free. I don't know, like a big oak tree. Holla. But all jokes aside, it sounds like probably the more selfish thing to say. It's like I want to do what I want to do, and I don't want to be held down, per se, by kids. But I would argue that my thought process is actually better than a lot of other people. And this is where we're going to get political. Don't you love political? And I love this, YouTube, because I can say whatever I want and get away with it because, freedom of speech, yes. And I'm going to go and flip the tables and say that this is probably the more unselfish thing to do at the moment. Because as most of you know, economy's not doing well. So bringing kids into this world and not having a whole lot of money is probably not the best idea. So as parents, or as a parent, I myself would want to make sure I have sound income, have a strong foundation for their future, and of course I still want to be able to do what I want. And so this is where I really bring it home for you. I don't know if you know this, but the generation that I grow up in is quite sexually active, okay? And a lot of mistakes have been made. And I know a lot of people that have had kids, have had kids at my age, and they, for pretty much the rest of their early years, they're working as hard as they can just to provide for their kids, and sometimes they end up not even being their kids. So it's very difficult when kids are brought into the equation. So what I'm thinking is, if I'm able to control myself, which isn't that difficult, and not be completely sexually active with anyone I see or want to see, which is ridiculous, then I will, not bring kids into the world, and then I'll be able to live freely. Because let's be honest, we don't really want to bring kids into this environment right now. I mean, there's nothing, looking into the future, there's nothing that looks bright about it at all. I mean, it just doesn't look good. So why would we want to bring kids into this messed up world? And this is where political comes in. This is where we talk about personal responsibility. Because when we make mistakes, right, we see this, if you're a guy, you see this attractive woman in a party, then you might actually get into it with them later on, and then all of a sudden 9 months later you've got this kid that you think is yours, but you're not sure because this chick could be with anybody because you don't really know her, but you stayed in contact because you became pregnant, yada yada yada. And you have this kid, and you're still young, but you don't have any money to support it, so where do you go? You go to Big Brother. And the biggest issue about this is that if you have kids and you don't work and you don't do a lot of other things, then you get money from the government, right? I mean, it only makes sense. you would get more money. But here's the kicker. The kicker is, when you have, the more kids you have, especially if you're like a single mom that doesn't work, the more kids you have, the more money you get. So it's more incentive for you to have more kids, because then you get more money. But then you're just bringing kids up in a bad environment, and you have more kids. And so my question is it more selfish to have the frame of mind that I have, where it's like, bro, I don't want kids for a while. I want to make sure that I want to do what I want to do for a while, and I don't want to be tied down, and, you know, I want to be able to have a steady base before I have kids? Or is it more selfish to indulge in your sexual desires at a young age, knowing full well that the result of those interactions will probably result in children, and doing it anyways, and then realizing that the more you do it, the more money you can actually make? It's just brilliant. Taking it another step. Is it more selfish to indulge in your own pleasures, and then when you make that mistake, which most people don't see as mistakes anymore, right? They see getting pregnant as a mistake, not the sexual encounter that makes the kid, which makes no sense. If the mistake is made, ergo a kid, then is it more selfish to be like, you know what, I take this responsibility and I'm going to raise this kid best as I can? Or is it more selfish to just be like, I can just get rid of it early on, then I won't have to worry about it, and then I can just keep doing what I want to do? Hey, I know, I look weird. I'm sick. I was sunburned. I was snowboarding yesterday. But it's just something that has been on my mind for a long time, because Big Brother, aka the government, gives us money for mistakes that we make in order to try to fix the mistakes. But then when they're trying to fix our mistakes, they're giving us incentive to continue to do them. Because we know that we don't want kids being brought up in single mother homes. A lot of times that's the way it happens, because men are pansies, and once they get a girl pregnant, they just book it because, you know, they want to live for their own selfish desires. And I would say that the sexual desire is the strongest, especially for guys my age, and we can't seem to control it. And it's extremely selfish, and it's extremely irresponsible. And as much as I want to be able to do whatever I want to do, I want to be able to have fun and not worry about that type of stuff. Whereas other people want to have fun with the mentality of, you know, drinking, partying, and sex, and doing whatever they want with whoever they want. And they don't really realize the consequences, and then the government pays them for their consequences. So this is just a thought that I was having today because of all the drama that goes on in my house on a daily basis because of kids. And I just can't even imagine what kids must be going through if they live in, you know, low, like poverty level housing with either one mom and one not really existent dad. And it all comes down to people our age being responsible, or my age, being responsible and having their heads on straight, and realizing that, you know, every action that you make is going to have an equal and opposite reaction. Science! And that everything we do has a consequence, whether it be good or bad. Because consequences don't always have to be bad. So next time we're thinking about doing whatever it is that we're doing, we need to be sure that we're looking more to the future rather than to the present now. And it's just kind of an idea that I had. I know it's kind of random because I didn't really put a whole lot of time into thinking about it. I just had to get it out now. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and favorite. I always do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. This has been Chase, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed.